Okay, I'm recording. Hang on. Techniques. I guess I'm recording. Yeah. Okay. Good.
All right. All right. You ready to go?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, let me center myself here. Okay. Welcome to a very special episode of Cosmic Road, where we are joined once again by Anita Okonen, great remote viewer. Welcome back to the show, Anita.
Nice to be back. Thank you.
Well, today we have a fun target. It's the alien at Area 51, the interview at Area 51. I used to think it was a hoax. Then John Stewart's investigation, was very compelling. And then Nico came along and he said he had seen, after he did a years long investigation himself, knocking on doors with the UFO control group, he was shown a similar video of the same or similar being, but from a different angle. And it was a much longer video, like an hour-long video. Then Whitley Strieber comes out and says, yep, that's a real alien. And the clue was the lights that went up and down. So, is it a real alien? Is it not? I'm very curious. I've been hoping to get somebody to remote view it. So Anita has come along to do that. Just to let you know how the process works, she is totally blind to the target. I generate an 8-number sequence of random numbers, and using a random number generator. And then I mentally link those numbers with the target, with the alien at Area 51. And then I send those 8 numbers to Anita. And that's all she sees. She doesn't know if it's a UFO target or a Bigfoot or Atlantis or what it is. So yeah, she's totally blind to the target. And she did her session. And then an hour ago, she sent me her data on it. And then I sent her the target. And so she's had a little time to digest that and unpack that. So without any more further ado, Anita, take it away.
This is going to be fun. We're going to break some hearts, maybe even yours.
No.
Yes, yes. So let's just show you the full report. Let's see here.
And you should have the ability to share your screen.
Yes. So for this one, you can see my full report. Can you see it?
I can see it.
All right. For this one, I did not record the actual remote viewing session like I have been doing.
I'm sorry. One more thing before you get into it. The tasking. Can you stop sharing your screen just for a second so I can read the exact words of the tasking? Yeah, okay. It's go to the date when this event happened, describe the subject of this photo, determine if it is a living being, and if so, and here is the photo that I was the tasking. If you can see that. Describe the subject of this photo, determine if it is a living being, and if so, any other relevant information pertaining to the target, such as its origins, intentions, and beliefs, etc. If it is a hoax, describe the hoaxer and the reason for the hoax. Okay, without any further ado. Okay, again. Yeah.
All right. So let me show you my report. So we have this one, and this one. All right. So can you see my full text report?
Yep.
So for this session, I did not record the remote viewing session itself as I have been doing. So we might want to go through the report a bit more thoroughly because of that, for those who want more of the data. And we do have an answer for the tasking. We do have an answer. And it's not, again, it's not what we want. So we're going to enjoy breaking some hearts today.
Well, I just want to know what the truth is. So, real or not.
Yeah. So this is the first drawing I made. These are the initial elements. These are just the individual bits that are most significant. And I have some kind of a spinning item, metallic perhaps is the gray. The orange spheres are objects on top as well as one on the side. Interestingly, there is wood materials, the brown thing. Wood is very unusual in remote viewing targets. I rarely get wood materials, nature materials, plants. And the red lines were life forms inside this object. So just so you see what the thing that first comes over me are mainly objects. It's just a little blur at the beginning. Let's just read a little. So the first item is silver disc spinning. It has life forms inside. And I'm not going to read everything. Life forms quarreling. And then an interesting point. I saw clearly very early in session someone filming with a kind of an old-fashioned video camera, like maybe 1980s or 90s. It's this big thing that you have to put on one shoulder that maybe has a VHS cassette in it, like big one. Today we have tiny cameras, like the webcam I'm using, it fits in the palm of a hand. But this was the big one, which you have on the shoulder. A big, strong man was carrying it, and they were filming something.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt. The alien interview, I want to say it was filmed in the 90s. I could be wrong on that. I need to double check the dates on that. But yeah, that would go with an, somewhat older equipment.
Yeah, that's the kind of camera.
And when you say a spinning disc, are you talking about a UFO?
Oh, I
It
didn't.
says it has wood inside of it. So what is that?
At this stage, I don't know what much of anything is. I just get elements, colored shapes. I basically, usually at this early stage, I only know if life form, object, building. We're on that kind of a level of data here. So orange item, everything that's an object for me shows up initially as an orange colored, usually a sphere. And I have to really work hard on it to get out the actual shape as well as its real color. That's why you see orange element item. So anyway, that's how this starts. We're just going to comb through here. I had some radio waves, some radio equipment, wood materials, which was interesting. The life forms inside of a spinning disc were quarreling. There has been a battle. I'm going to summarize everything, but people can read on their own if anything interests. And we're just skimming through, but people can pause and read because I'm going to give a nice summary at the end. Just seeing what we need to. So I did have an impression of like a skull at this early stage, which now that I have the feedback picture, this alien on the feedback picture looks exactly like, if you're kind of squinting, like just a skull. It looks exactly like it. So that was probably the skull impression I had. I'm having that the main element of this target was not a life form. I had lots of life forms, but the most important thing was not a life form. That's already telling for this tasking. The main thing was an object. And there was some kind of an important object which had been passed around and exchanged hands a lot. Lots of different people had it. At this
Was
time,
this the skull?
at this stage, I don't know. We're going to get more clarity in the session as we keep going. At
It
this
says
stage,
children are playing with it.
Yeah.
In a room made out of wood.
Yeah. I had an important item which felt royal, significant. It has been set up on top of a stick to glow like a candle flame or light, either literally or symbolically. It is royal. It has been repaired many times, an object. something funny, as I'm reading from the text, something funny that has been filmed a lot. The same heavy video camera that a man would have resting on one shoulder. These 1980s, 90s, you have it on a shoulder and you're filming. Object is hiding in a closet. Object has been stolen. Lots of emotions. We will sum that up at the end. People have fought here. This place is being guarded heavily. Life form with sadness and despair and hopelessness. Someone regal like a king, a place of pain and suffering. Now, let's see what we have. So these are my initial elements. Just not really clear what they are. That's the things I get from the target number from the signal to work with initially. Here I've done some probing on them. This doesn't look like it's what we're going for, but once we wrap everything up in the end, we'll be happy with the answer. For whatever reason, lots of green leaves around, wood materials, life forms. That's just, you can see how everything's a bit blurry, like the orange spheres, they're objects of some kind, but I don't yet see clearly. It's a blur of an orange color. I just know it's an object and I can see where it is in relation to other things and patting around and seeing what's around it and people interacting. Some kind of a reptile being. We will get back to this thing at the end because it comes back at the very end of the session. And I have a guard of some kind. I have a god figurine, which looked a bit reptilian-like to me. It was definitely a statue and not a life form on the left. And this man I've seen so clearly looks like that. And so that's one of the drawings. And here I'm looking. So here it gets interesting. Body of a baby figurine, headless. This object showed up many times. I've drawn it on the bottom. It just looked like 4 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs, but no head on it. But it was the body of a baby. And of course, at first I'm wondering, oh, is it a real baby without the head? No, turns out it's a figurine. And it is headless, this one. It's an object. We're getting somewhere. Let's just take a look what we're writing. For whatever reason, I get people doing worship and kneeling on the ground and rituals, religious impressions, very strong. Guards and people doing weird rituals here. A woman is kneeling down with hands on the ground. Injured bodies. I've seen bodies with holes on the head and on the back, literal holes.
Like injuries from a battle?
Yeah,
Because I know you had a lot
yeah.
of data from a battle. There is some
I
defeat
don't
in battle.
I don't know if those injuries what caused them, but I've seen bodies with holes.
Hmm.
I've seen battles, battleground. People are guarding the main object element.
Now, is the main object, is that the target or was that the skull? What is your,
Possibly,
what
possibly.
is,
I'm not sure what it is. The main object is large and at least one person is sitting on it. Someone is crying near the object. Someone doesn't want to leave the object and is leaning arms and face against the object, crying and not wanting to leave, and is emotional. They're fighting a battle here. The guards are fighting it. We're gonna skip a little bit. We will have a nice answer at the end when we wrap everything up.
okay.
Since I don't have a summary, I need to really look for the data, because I prefer to read them from the text rather than from memory. And that way people can also see what I have and how it progresses. Impressions of
No,
people eating
no,
food.
I have to break in and ask you, I'm looking at the description right now, lots of white marble or stone blocks that have been
Yeah,
used to construct buildings. And you were
yeah.
getting, guards that, are we looking in the past, something historical, some
It
older
felt
civilization or?
it felt to me like an older civilization. It felt that way, what I was seeing. Mm. Lots of prayer rituals, and I maybe have a good explanation at the end for why. So, holy, something religious. And there was a spring of water where people think the water has healing properties. Here we go. There's the body of a baby, which seems to be missing its head and is held up by hands of someone else. Someone's holding it up. There's poison beneath them, and the baby's being held up above the poison. There's a ritual done here. Figurine of a god that reminds me of a reptilian figure. A reptilian is a type of alien. So I'm having an alien figurine, like a figure, a statue almost. And some conversations with the life forms.
And these life forms are human or?
Every time I looked at a life form, I saw human features. I did not have anything alien in any of the life forms, except for the guy at the very end, which I will show you a drawing of. So, someone has the body of a baby which has the 4 limbs, but no head, and it needs to be found. The body of the baby has no beating heart. The body of the baby is a figurine. Something else so much about rituals, witchcraft, religious, and we will get back to that. Rituals, the healing water spring, prayer, baby figurine with 4 limbs and no head. So here I look closer at it. Doesn't break easily, has no life form material inside, was never a living being nor a living baby. So it's an object in the shape of a baby. Not made out of a crusty shell, not owned by anybody, it has been left behind. Not dusty, old, or stale, is pretty, meaning rather new looking, not metallic inside, not a cast, so it's not made by pouring material into a cast form, is made out of straw and fiber, is made out of husk, is a ritual burial sacrifice, is placed in with the womb of a dead baby. This figurine is the dead baby's forefather. Weird ritual impressions about this baby puppet. Is not an important religious item, is not carved into, it has no carvings on it, is not nice looking, is covered in wet leaves, has spider webs on it, is wet and damp, it symbolizes holy ritual. Baby figurine. Many people toss it around, exchanges hands for good luck ritual. It has no carvings inside, not gold ornamented, not significant to anyone else than the people who are here, not to do with any stars or astronomy. It is just held and tossed for good luck. It is a puppet made out of thin fibers. Then I have a woman or human at least, which registers as a priestess. Again, all this ritual implication. And temple impressions. Now look at this. Close to the bottom. I'm so happy I wrote this down. RV says, there are no Zetas, gray aliens, here. If anyone wants to know, there are no aliens here. The parentheses are comments that I add. So RV basically said these sentences. There are no Zetas here. If anyone wants to know, there are no aliens here. Now, this is the feedback. You see the picture? So this would be depicting a Zeta type of alien, the grays. And
I think John said they referred to it as the other gray. So yeah, a gray type.
Yeah. RV says there are no Zetas here. If anyone wants to know, there are no aliens here. Just suddenly, just RV puts that in there. There hasn't been any mention of aliens so far in the session. So that's an interesting, very specific spelling it out clue, but we have some more.
But okay, so there were no aliens there where you were seeing this indigenous culture or historical culture. You know, do you feel like you were on target, you know, with Area 51? I mean, if there were no aliens at Area 51, if you were seeing the interview space, you know, that would be really compelling, right? That, you know, that wasn't real. But do you think that maybe you're picking up something else that may or may
Well,
not be related, but it's still interesting?
my suspicion is, here's what I suspect after spending some time, about an hour thinking about this after feedback. Maybe RV took me to a time and place which had puppets of alien figurines and other religious figures and dolls for me to look at and to show me these are not aliens. I know I must have connected to the target site with the video camera, since the target is this film. And RV saying there are no Zetas here in case anyone wants to know. It seems to me in hindsight that I was taken to a place and time which had this reptilian figure, which I drew here, unless this basically is the alien figure from the film that looks like this initially. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think we have an answer at the end. So they have lots of puppets and dolls. Puppets, I look closer. Softness inside, not cold on the outside, not made out of real hair or real eyes, not breakable easily, gives a good hope and good luck for the homes inside. Inside homes is a good luck amulet for the homes. Not dusty, they get treated nicely, is mended when they break, not filled with meat. Gives good hopes, not breakable easily, not quarreled over, no one fights over ownership of these. They are sat down nicely. They bring good hopes and charms like a charm amulet item. They are not costly to make. They sit and watch over. They are overseers, therefore. They give people good fishing luck for whatever reason. No battles are won over them. They never fall over or get left behind. And there I end it. So we can close that and look at our drawing. So there we have an alien figurine, which to me, I thought it was one of these ancient Sumerian reptilian god figure statues. It reminded me of. So I've drawn an object which is depicting an alien figure, but it's an object. Okay, I'm recording. This. Let's just continue as if nothing happened.
Well, now I'll say something because there'll be a break. I'll
Okay.
say, yeah, I'll own it.
Okay, this one. Yeah, this is where we were. Okay.
Okay. All right, sorry for the break, guys. My Zoom froze. I don't know what's going on. The second time this week that has happened. Yeah, so you computer savvy guys, let me know your thoughts on why my Zoom keeps freezing. Meanwhile, Anita, take it away.
Okay, let's continue. Yeah, so I have a figurine, note, not life form, of a god figurine, an alien. It definitely looked like an alien figurine. And I've also had impressions of, hang on, impressions of this guard. Could be a military, could be older times, but a guard. And next picture, there's the figurine of the baby again. And a guard, battleground, this holy spring with healing water. There's the guard again, a priestess, the landscape, lots of leaves, and this luck figurine is the baby again, the thing that looks like an X. And I've drawn all these brown stringy fiber bits across it because it was made out of some kind of a fiber. And here's the last drawing. So the last drawing is always the most important. That's where I'm starting to really grasp what I have. So we have puppets, dolls, which is bad news for our little alien figure. But also saw an alien. So it was an alien in my session. I saw this alien which looked like that with eyelids up and down, and it looked like a reptilian. And it looked like it was alive, but it did not look like a Zeta. Early in session, I also drew this reptile type of thing with a tail. And
Oh, I thought that
then,
was a monkey.
no,
That
I
was
don't.
a
And then I have this site is a building which is a bit underground. So we've done the report, so here's the feedback, the tasking. Go to the date when this event happened. Describe the subject of this photo. Determine if it is a living being, and if so, any other relevant information pertaining to the target, such as its origins, intentions, and beliefs, etc. If it was a hoax, describe the hoaxer and the reason for the hoax. So Arvi clearly said, spelled it out to me in 2 sentences. There is no Zeta alien here, if anybody wants to know. So the alien in the target picture looks like it's depicting one of the Zeta types. There are several varieties. So Arvi is saying there is no Zeta. And then I have all these impressions of the puppet and the figurine of alien, a figurine, statue, object depicting an alien being. I had at the end, the reptilian. So what do I think? I think this session clearly says that this alien is some kind of a puppet. I think Arvi may have taken me to a time and place where people had other types of alien figurines to show me alien figurines of other kinds, maybe, unless it was just showing me this one from the feedback picture, and I'm kind of a bit blurry about where and when. And the alien type of thing at the very end, maybe, and this is a lot of speculating, but maybe Arvi wanted to show me a real living reptilian alien, just to remind me that I'm capable of seeing real aliens. Now, this is all far-fetched, but what we do have, the main thing we have is Arvi saying there's no Zeta, and there's all these puppets. You just don't have puppets and things in a session just like that. It's a bit weird. It's a bit messy. I don't think we would necessarily go to Area 51 where the video was allegedly made, because if it is a hoax, we're not even told to go there. We're told to look at the hoaxers and their reasons for creating this. Then it would be a puppet. Then there would be no Area 51. If that's where we're going, then we would be looking at the people who hoaxed it and why. So why? Let's say it is a puppet. Why was it made? Well, drawing from my session report, these dolls were made as good luck figurines. People would put them in their home, up on a shelf perhaps, and they liked having the puppet looking overseeing. And this was good luck. This was a good thing to have in the home, not as a decoration, but as a it was very rituals and religious weird stuff. It's messy. This session I struggled with. I even considered quitting remote viewing because this session felt really bad. I can read from my report real quick at the
Quitting
bottom.
remote viewing in general, or just this one session?
But in general, I have those moments. I wrote a comment in my text report just before I ended the session and submitted my data. I wrote, I don't feel good about this session. I still don't know what it is at the end of the session. The signal isn't anything that excites me, and this one was not enjoyable to work with. It feels flat, and I still don't know what it is, apart from maybe ancient ruins where people came to heal with the holy water from a spring well. I struggled with this one because I didn't have anything meaty to grasp in my hands. But turns out this puppet and negating the Zeta thing maybe is in there. So that's what I think. I think this session clearly describes that this video is showing a puppet. And that's what I have.
Well, thank you so much, Anita. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I think that's fascinating. You're getting some other really interesting data as well about that culture and that people. One of the recurring themes was they had just lost a battle, and there was a battle, and that was very important and significant in the data. Also, I was very intrigued by the holy water, and also you're getting the tree of life. Do you have any more detail about what the tree of life was, and anything like that? Because I thought that was super intriguing. There wasn't a lot of detail about that wasn't a recurring theme like the doll or the losing of the battle. But I thought that was really really an intriguing moment because
Oh,
there's various depictions in ancient art about a tree of life. And I was
yeah.
wondering if this might belong to one of those cultures or if you could get any insight into what that was.
Well, reading from my report again, this is the tree of life for us. And so, yes, with that in hindsight, I am well. He was at this healing site. And I wrote, I would have thought that he looks to be dead, dying, or injured, especially with what he said about Paul's. But then he speaks about it being the tree of life, and he seems calm and happy to be there. That's all I had, is that he said so. Um, yeah, I was taken to that place, which seemed ancient. And they had all these rituals, and they had these figurines, these dolls. I don't know. This session didn't feel right, but I think it tells me that this thing on the video is a puppet. Now I'm interested. Why did people think that this alien was real? Because of some moving lights? How does that make an
No, you
alien?
you have to go into the research on it. I encourage you to, watch some of the interviews that John Stewart has done or that I did with Nico, who
Mm,
was shown a much long because there's a video. There's a short one that has been around for a while on the internet that people have been debating about,
mm,
and that's the one that John has investigated and actually has interviewed family members of some of the people that were there, the doctors and the people that were supposedly present during the interview.
mm,
And so then Nico, who has also done his own independent investigation, was shown a very similar video of the same or a similar being from a different angle. And this one was about an hour long. So, really interesting corroboration of this, whatever was going on there,
mm,
that hour-long video is not public. He was showing that in confidence and behind the scenes, and that's not out there.
mm,
So, and then Whitley Strieber coming along and saying that the little green blip that's present during the interview is a communication device and that he has had personal experience with such a communication device. So anyway, but there's a lot of research to go into on that you can check out. But that's why some people think that it may be a real being. Of course, there's a lot of pushback. A lot of people think it's a puppet, and we'll probably be very happy to see your session and to have that confirmed. But for me, I'm still very much on the fence about it because your data was very specific to a culture, an ancient culture, which I became very intrigued by with the sacred well and the tree of life, and they just lost a battle, and I found that very intriguing. I would love to learn more about that. They have statues of reptilian beings, and the figurine that you were seeing primarily wasn't, it was weird looking because it didn't have a head, but it wasn't necessarily alien. It was a human baby figurine that just didn't have a head.
Well,
So
it doesn't necessarily have to be a baby. It's a doll type of thing with
the
arms
point
and
was that it
legs.
was a doll, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I get
RV
that. I get
calls
that.
RV has to try to pull some names for things. So if it says baby, it could just mean a smaller than adult sized figure with arms and legs. Yeah. I'm gonna trust my RV on this one and say that thing is a puppet.
All right, all right. Well,
but
I'll let you have the final word on that.
but if we're undecided or not sure, then I'm really, I hope to remote view it again in the future, maybe 5 or 10 years from now. I'm happy to take a second look. Would be also nice to see what other remote viewers get. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. All right, well, Anita, really a brilliant session. Thank you so much for spending the time on that. Everybody go check out Anita's channel. Can you give us your channel name again?
Elements, empathic, cognizance. Now that's a name for my remote viewing with message. And I spent a whole month, January this year, remote viewing for the name of the method. So that's what RV named itself. It's kind of hard to spell. I didn't even know that cognizance is a word until I remote viewed it, and turns out it is. So maybe just put a link under the video.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem, no problem.
Yeah, this
All
one
right,
was fun. Thank you for the target. Yeah, I think we have an answer. It's not what we want again, but it's an answer.
all right. Well, thank you again, Anita, so much. And yeah, everybody again, go check out her channel and give her a big shout out in the comments. Give her a big thank you and like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with the Cosmic Road, signing out.